If you have a JDM right-hand drive Toyota Aristo, I'm going to increase your quality of life so much. Just watch this video, you'll see what I'm talking about. So a couple things we're going to cover. There's various climate controls that can be used in this car. You have the factory navigation, which, this is Japanese, but look at this. This is LA, and this is clearly English. How did I get an English navigation display? We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about the Beat Sonic kit. So this is the MB multi-vision adapter. This is the whole wiring harness and mounting assembly that you need if you're going to install one of these climate controls and you want to do an aftermarket Android CarPlay. So keep watching. We'll get into all of it right now. First step, we need to remove the climate control. That involves popping this vent out, and then you'll see two 10mm bolts on top, and then removing the bottom ashtray or storage cup assembly that just pulls straight out. Two tabs right here, and then also two 10mm bolts. So I'm going to pull that out, and then we'll take a look at what we have. Right now, keep in mind, climate is integrated in the navigation. So you hit this button, you can do dual mode, AC, you know, all this is normal. So yeah, let me get this out of here. And as far as the maps go, you're gonna have to watch to the end. I'll explain that later. Not really too important, because if you do a GROM or some type of integration, it's gonna get rid of the navigation anyways, and you'll have CarPlay in here. But in case you want to go like this, back to just the stock look, we'll talk about that later. Bolts are out. Now we can just lift the entire navigation out of the dashboard and then remove the plugs in back. Now here are the plugs you're left with. This is your stereo on the bottom, this is your climate control, and then this is your navigation. So Toyota makes it very simple. If you want to install a different climate control like this, these plugs are exactly the same. So plug these in like so, and then you have a climate control that will work. I'll show you. Make sure we're in park. There you go. So now it's the same thing. You got front, rear, auto. The problem with this one specifically is a lot of this is, well, it's all in Japanese. Where's the menu? There we go. And if you have any, like an ARS delete or some kind of light error, this is always going to show up on here. So if you're okay with that, I guess, you know, that's fine. But there should be also, why am I not getting the, so here's your menu up here. You have, let's see, all these functions which show you basically distance to empty or miles per gallon, time, all that stuff. So it's cool to have, but the downside is you're stuck with the message that, like, this car has an ARS delete. And this is normal that the light's on, but the kit is installed in back. So if you like that one, you can install this one. Personally, this is the one that I would install. This is just like the same kind of as US-spec GS. So if you got just your basic climate control, temperature, outside temp here, which I'm not sure if that's always up there. I guess it is. But this works just the same, just less information and a little bit more basic. So in my older age, you know, I just like the function over the actual form or the display, the funny, or the info display. But this works as well, and you've got driver temp, passengers on the left, obviously. So if you like that version, you can do that. And then there's this. I don't even know if this is going to work, but we'll see. So this is the US-spec climate control from a GS. I don't know if this is even going to work because everything's kind of flipped. So you got passenger on the driver, and then driver on the passenger. AC doesn't work, it just changes this. So it looks like this is not going to work because the buttons are not lined up correctly. So there's some wiring changes, so this isn't going to work. I don't know if there's a UK left-hand or right-hand drive climate control for Aristo. I don't think there is. That would show Fahrenheit if you don't want the Celsius, but those are your options. So I'm working with Grom to see, or I'm trying to research if there's a company that will have integration or already has integration with the JDM Navigation to get that working with CarPlay. If we do, we don't even have to use one of these. But that's kind of where I'm at now. And then I'll show you this kit next, the MVA adapters and the wiring harnesses from Japan to work with this unit and the factory amp if you do want to do a CarPlay or doubled in. And then finally, I'll show you how I got the US maps on the JDM Navigation. First up, we have the Sonic SLA31A. This is the interface adapter here. You have a plug here, and then another plug here, and some wires that you have to attach. Looks like ground, and what else we got here? Front right, so it gives you your speaker outputs here. What else? ACC. So this is like a traditional kind of adapter for an aftermarket stereo. Here's your illumination. But essentially this plugs into the factory harness, and then it gives you your connectors to your stereo. Now this, the SLA31A, is just for the non-navigation Aristo. So if your Aristo has this climate control and a normal stereo, this is what you need. This will not work on the navigation version that we have. This is the exciting one. So this one is for the multi-vision or electro-vision, I think. Well, I guess they're all... No, that would be right. MVA multi-vision. SLA is super live sound adapter. So this is what you need for the navigation. Now it comes with the doubled-in adapter, as you can see. But this one is much more comprehensive as far as the wiring goes. And I think you actually have to run something to the trunk, if I'm not mistaken. Here is our adapter for this, MVA31. And then, yeah, something has to go to the trunk. I don't know what. But if you have a navigation like we have, you're going to need this one. And these are really hard to find. This one, these usually run like $400 just for this wiring harness. So you can do a little Japanese translating here to see exactly what wire is what, you know, what this all means. We have some things here. It says rear something. I'm not going to take this apart because I'm not sure what I'm doing with this car yet. But everything, as you can see, will plug into what we have here for our navigation. This also has a manual, which we can also translate, which we're probably going to have to do, but just to give you an idea. Yes, so basically same thing I just showed you. Remove the vent, remove the cubby, remove the navigation. Step 2 shows you all your connectors here. So here's the Navi, your channels left, right. Here, this goes into the MVA31, and then this probably goes, you know, wherever it goes. Like I said, we'll have to translate that. And then here, step 3, it's showing you this is the amplifier in the trunk underneath the navigation DVD drive. You have to run this specified wire to that location. So once you've done all that, then it shows you how to, you know, use your doubled-in adapter for your radio, and then it shows you the climate controls that I showed you here, and that's it. So once that's done, you can have a working CarPlay doubled-in, or navigation, or Pioneer, or whatever you want to do if you want to do something nice. Working through the factory amplifier, which is key because then you can use all your factory speakers, and then you have this climate control. So a lot of really good information here. I'm really excited about the options. Someday I am going to own the perfect Aristo. I don't know if this is the one, or if this one's going to sell, or if I'm going to find something else I like. But when I do, I will have everything ready to go. The knowledge, the parts, and all that. Now, finally, you've been waiting this whole video to see how I got the US maps on the JDM Navigation. Please like, subscribe, comment on the video. This is the time to do that. But now I'm going to show you what I did. Alright, inside the trunk, this is very easy. Easiest part of the whole process. Under this panel, you will find a DVD drive and the amplifier we mentioned before. That has to be tapped into that harness. This DVD drive is straight out, are you ready for this? Of a US GS300. Here's our Japanese navigation. Here's our part number, 86841-30080. Plugs are the same. This one is not used. I don't know what this is for, but this is not used on this one, nor is it used on the US one. So there you go. There you have it. Go to the junkyard, get a US nav drive from a GS or whatever else is compatible. LS, Prius, those are a different style. Those won't work with this. So you need a GS 300, 400, 430, whatever. Plug it in, boom, you've got your English maps. So there you have it. You have all the information you need to make your Aristo more creature comfort friendly for US drivers. I talked about before in one of the previous videos, you can also even plug in a GS cluster. So you can have a mile-an-hour cluster reading in miles, and everything works. Somewhat. You'll see what doesn't work if you watch the video or try it, but all the gauges work. Most everything works. Airbag light comes on. I think something has to be rewired in the cluster if you do that. But yeah, then the only thing you got is the right-hand drive, but whatever. You know, everything else, you got Celsius here, English here, English, whatever you want to do there. And that's it. So take care. Let me know what you think. Tell me about your Aristo. If you need any of these parts, let me know. I can get anything from Japan for you if you're doing your own build. But like I said, this stuff's kind of hard to find, but I can get it. So thanks again. Peace. Take care. Later.